own life. Wellesley Testosterone. Find massmoney.com and buy golf.
On Boston's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Can't touch this.
Kevin Gausman in his last start against the Mets for the first time in his career didn't have a strikeout.
He got one there. A low fastball to get Devers.
2-2 will strike him out. Caught him looking at 94. And that one foul tip into the mitt and held by Kirk for the out. 2, he had a notion and he went, according to third base umpire Culpa. And that is a strikeout. Back-to-back K's. He struck him out. Quite a bounce back there by Gausman. After the double, 3 consecutive whiffs. The Brave down hacking. And that'll be in there, strike 3. And Gausman is on a strikeout run of 5 straight. Swing and a miss, another strikeout. And a 2-strike pitch. Down he goes. He has struck out 2 in this inning.
Guess what? Another four-seamer above the zone. Guys just not able to lay off it or get on top of it.
And he will take that one for strike 3. Red Sox go very quickly in the 9th inning, and we are headed to extra innings. The 0-2 to Story, and he went too far, and that is strike 3. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. The Red Sox fail to come through again with another strikeout, 13 times. Down he goes on 3 pitches. Hamilton fans, another Red Sox strikeout, the 14th of the game.
Legit. Either work hard or you might as well quit. That's word.
All right, here's the good news as it pertains to the Red Sox today against the Toronto Blue Jays. They're in the bottom of the 7th. Score is 2-1 Toronto. Red Sox just got to bat here in the bottom of the 7th, so nobody out with Christian Campbell at the plate. He's ahead in the count 3-0. That is the end of my play-by-play, if you want to call it that. And we'll try to give you sporadic updates as we go on here. Again, that is the good news, rather, is that they're down and they've only struck out 6 times so far in this game. So that's 20 now in the last 2 for the Red Sox. But we'll start with the strikeouts. Because to me, this is the one that I think there is a story to be written here or asked about or however you want to call it. I was telling Jim Murray this a little while ago. The strikeouts with the Red Sox this year are going up my backside. Their inability to put the ball in play is frustrating, and there is a story there if someone wants to do it. I just don't know if anybody does. I don't know if anybody cares. And I think there's a question that is bigger than just the Red Sox about the strikeouts in this lineup, because the Red Sox lead the major league in strikeouts. Their inability to put the ball in play cost them a game last night, and this is an ongoing dilemma with the team. So you tell me, what is it? Is it the offensive approach and the modern way of playing the game? And I'll put a slash between those two. Meaning, strikeouts are now acceptable, and are the Red Sox okay with it? Because the idea is to launch the ball out of the ballpark, and we can live with a strikeout. We don't bunt anymore. There's no actual baseball that's played, and this is hardly anything new, but it's relevant now because the Red Sox have a good team for the first time in what we think is a good team, a competitive team, for the first time in, call it, 3 or 4 years. And now all of a sudden, they can't put the ball in play at key times, and they strike out at a disturbing rate. 14 strikeouts last night, which again means it was an extra inning game, but they've also had games with 13 strikeouts in 9 innings. I mean, basically every other out you make is a strikeout on a night like that. Every other out is a strikeout. And so here's what I want to know. There's no way Alex Cora can be okay with this. I don't think, unless he's just selling us a bill of goods every time he talks and he says, well, we need to put the ball in play. Let's see what happens. Make contact. Usually when you put the ball in play, good things happen. And for example, let me give you the, what's the word I'm looking for, Jimmy Stewart, the anatomy of the Red Sox run-scoring rally today. The game was 0-0, 0-0, entering the bottom of the 6th. Carlos Narvaez led off the inning for the Red Sox, the number 9 hitter, and made it out. So 1 out, nobody on. Jarren Duran walks. He then steals second base. Rafael Devers at the plate, flies out to right field. Duran tags up and goes to third. And with 2 outs, Alex Bregman gets a fastball in on his hands, similar to a pitch that he struck out on last night, but this time hits it off the middle of the bat. And it loops into left center field, or short left field, for a bloop single that scores Duran and gives the Red Sox a 1-0 lead. So do you understand what happened in that inning? There wasn't really a single hard hit ball. 1 out, Duran walked, stole second, went to third on a fly out, and then Bregman hit a jam shot into left center field. So we talk a lot about the nerds. We talk a lot about the analytics and about the negative impact that they've had on the game. So I don't know what the exit velocity was necessarily on Bregman's hit, but I can tell you this. If it broke 80 miles an hour, I'd be shocked. I'll see if I can look it up during the break. But it still got you a run in what was a 0-0 game, and you took the lead 1-0. Now, the Red Sox promptly gave that lead right back in the top of the 7th when they failed to turn a double play at the end of the inning. So, again, and I'll give you the breakdown on that in a moment. But, again, the Blue Jays put the ball in play and forced you to execute the double play. And you know what happened? You botched it. They had already scored a run to that point on a ball that was hit into the left field corner. And Justin Wilson was in relief of Walker Buehler at that time and got knocked around a little bit. But I would tell you again, put the ball in play, see what happens. The Blue Jays didn't strike out. They are now up 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th. But, again, are the Red Sox okay with this? Is this what they want it to be? Because Cora says all the time, put the ball in play. We don't want to strike out, productive outs, et cetera, et cetera. Cora preaches the benefits of old school baseball. Meanwhile, the Red Sox have more analysts than just about any team in the game now. So they're hiring analysts out the years. They've hired people from Driveline to teach launch angle of getting the ball in the air, and that has helped produce more strikeouts, I think. So on the one hand, we celebrate Christian Campbell for being a product of open-mindedness, analytics, and a new age of the game, and yet he struck out 3 times last night, and the Red Sox lose a 2-1 game in extra innings that they very easily could have won. And now today they're on the verge of losing 2-1 again after losing a 6-1 game or 6-2 game the night before. So we'll get to the double play and the botched double play that could cost them the game. We'll take your calls. It's a short program tonight. We're done at 6:30 again because the Bruins are on the air here in 98.5. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock game. Jimmy, I don't even know who they're playing. Who are they playing tonight? Blackhawks. So that's actually a winnable one for the Bruins. But I see a few of you lined up already. We'll get to your phone calls immediately. 617-779-0985. Joe is in Blackstone. Joe, what do you got?
Hi, first-time caller. I was just calling because the way this Red Sox team is going and the way that they handled Raffy at the beginning of the year, they're just doing all the things that they blamed him for. I mean, the bad defense, the errors, and now they can't even hit, and he seems to be the only one really, getting it. He's not out in the field, so I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so, Joe, look, I don't look at it as some sort of referendum on who was right, Rafael Devers or the Red Sox, because to me, what's right is whatever it takes or whatever is necessary to win. I mean, isn't that basically what everyone wants? You just want to win. So whatever it takes, do it. I don't care who's right. What's that old line? I don't want to be right. I want to do right. So same deal. Just do the right thing with regard to winning the game. That's all I'm interested in. Get on base by any way necessary. Get the outs. Turn the double plays when you're in the field. Pretty basic stuff. So I will say that based on those fundamentals, the Red Sox right now kind of stink. They have better talent than they have in other years, but the way they've played, the games they've won have been blowouts. Everybody wins when they hit. So the question is, can you win when you don't hit? Can you do the things that are necessary to win games? And I don't see it. Sean in Colorado. Sean, what do you got?
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Good.
We talk so much about the whole driveline thing, but I feel like that can't just be the only reason they're struggling so bad. I get it's a style of hitting. It shouldn't be an absolute style of hitting, and that's where my issue right now. What does Pete Fatsi do? He's the hitting coach, right? Isn't that his job to be able to mediate in between driveline and reality, where he can say, yeah, that's great technique to use in certain situations, but hey, we're in a cold game. We got a runner on third with 2 outs. We just need a ball in play to try to get us some momentum, to try to get something going. Isn't it his job to mediate and teach situational hitting? What is his job, and how does he differentiate between Pete Fatsi and driveline? Aren't they the same person?
So, Sean, you would think so. You would think so. And again, this is what I want to know. Now, they kept the hitting coach, so I presume that they're okay with him, and I say they, meaning Cora. But it feels to me like the manager is preaching certain things, and I don't know that the Red Sox are necessarily emphasizing those at other levels or on the with every player. And so this is what I think the story is. So this is what I would love to know. And again, I don't cover the team anymore. And I understand the dynamics are different. So I'm not picking on any particular beat writer down there, but I am picking on the overall state of modern media. How about that? Instead of asking Cora after the game, what did you think of Tanner Houck? How about asking him, Alex, how do you fix the strikeouts? He says we have to make an adjustment. What adjustment? Do you guys believe in launch angle? Is that what you want? Or is it for yes for some guys and no for others? You know, is this a coaching thing? And if he says, well, no, it's not a coaching thing. Okay, so next question. Are some players doomed to strike out no matter what they do? Lots of guys have strikeout histories. Rafael Devers is a power hitter. He strikes out a lot. Certain guys strike out a lot. Typically, it's a trade-off for power. So Trevor Story is going to strike out. Is there anything you can do to mitigate that? Can Tristan Casas strike out less? How much can you do that? And are you doing the things necessary to mitigate it? Jarren Duran's a leadoff hitter who struck out 150 times last year. So how do you fix that? Can you teach it? Is that a mechanics thing, or is that just who he is? That, to me, is the story. And where do you stand on it, Alex? What is your philosophy with regard to hitting? And is that something that gets translated to the hitters, or do you have to, again, obviously you have to work with who they are, but can you emphasize mechanics or fundamentals that help mitigate that? They're striking out way too much. It's not okay. To me, that's the story. With their offense, that's the story. Their pitching and their defense, something altogether different. And we'll get to that when we come back on the Baseball Hour.
You're listening to the Baseball Hour.
He elevated the four-seamer, and we weren't able to catch up.
Those situations late in the game, man on third, 1 out, how tough is it just not?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to put the ball in play. Tristan did a good job advancing the runner, but then after that, we didn't catch it in, so we got to be better.
What makes his Cosman's four-seamer so effective? Because he's not overwhelming you with velocity necessarily. But.
I mean, Davila picked up halfway through it, right? He started the game like a 90, 91, and then all of a sudden it was 94, 95, but it's like 20 inches, right? So it's hoppy, but we got to be better. We got to be better in that aspect.
Tonight, would you say that this was more about Cosman being good, or you guys doing well enough? Would you say?
I mean, I think we're good. We just got beat by him.
As a manager, I know you're preaching about putting the ball in play for years. Is that kind of the theme of the night?
You just got to make adjustments. We have to, as a group, But I trust our players. I trust this group. It's one bad night. We're going to show up tomorrow and try to win the game.
So that's the exchange with Alex Cora last night. And again, so this is what I want to know. What adjustments? And I'm not yelling at Cora. I'm just saying, there's a follow-up question there. Or maybe they asked it before the game today. I don't know. But, Alex, when you talk about adjustments, what kinds of things are we talking about? Changing personnel or approach at the plate? Is there a problem with the approach? Or is it the talent of the player that you have guys that are susceptible to strikeouts? So what adjustments? Tell me, what are you talking about? What are you not doing that you have to do? So in other words, there's a reason they're striking out so much. What is it? If you just tell me they all suck, fine, I guess. But I don't think that's true. They have guys that are capable major league hitters. Now, I don't think much of Trevor Story. I think he's an easy out. But Rafael Devers can hit. Christian Campbell, I think, can hit. Casas can hit. And to his credit, by the way, Casas did move a runner last night from second to third. So, as much as I get on Casas did it right last night. Casas did it right. What's going on with the other guys? Are they all trying to be heroes? What's the story? And if it's the cold weather, why is Toronto able to execute? So to me, again, I just think there's something there with the offense. The strikeouts are driving me bananas. They're driving me crazy. You can't win if you strike out all the time. You can't do it. You don't put the ball in play. You got to make contact. You can't hit 200 and just hit home runs. And again, they beat up on soft pitching. So you know what Gossman did last night? He just rifled fastballs by him all night because they couldn't hit it. And on a night like last night, 94, 95 probably plays like 97. Everybody's cold. Everybody's tight. I'm sure the bat speed was less because it was a cold night. So he attacked. Let me take your calls. And again, that double play, what a freaking disaster that was. That's how the Toronto scored the second run. Nate's in a car. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Tony, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I just think the analytics is too much in their head. I mean, if you look at the roster, they have the talent on paper, right? And I feel like they should be able to produce more. I mean, Jim Rice tried to help them out, and someone came down to try to tell them not to listen to him. So I think, if they had more instruction from people that have been there, like these greats, and, maybe listen to their own instincts and, they didn't have the superstition aspect from striking out all the time, I think they'd probably be better off. But, yeah, I think the analytics definitely have a little bit of, what's going on with the current situation.
Yeah, so, Nate, this is what I want to know. Tell me how it's broken down. This is the story that should be written, and I say that, Alex Spear is very good at these kinds of stories at the Boston Globe. And so, and Spear has a very even-tempered way about him that I'm sure would allow him to get some information on it. But what can you fix? Tell me. Are you chasing? Are you getting guys who chase? And do they have a history of chasing? Devers chases, historically. This year, not as much. And on top of that, he's one of those rare players that can hit bad balls. So, with Devers, I don't have a big gripe with Devers at the moment. But some of the other, they had a guy on second base last night, but nobody out in the fourth inning. The next three guys struck out. And then in extra innings, Casas moved the ghost runner over. The next two guys struck out. You can't put the ball in play to win a game. You can't even make contact. Big league players. And that's ridiculous. Anthony in a car. Go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, how's it going, Maz? I really respect your opinion on the Sox most times than not, but we're talking about April baseball here, and especially cold in Boston. They did well against the Cardinals. I'm going to give them a pass on Toronto. I mean, it just is what it is.
Anthony, I'm not giving them a pass, and it isn't what it is. It's cold for both teams. And you're a New England team. You're going to play in cold weather. And so what are you going to do in the playoffs when it's cold? Well, it's cold, I mean, it's tough. Can't be, if you get to the playoffs, nobody ever bitched about the cold when they were winning World Series. And you know what? They were a good cold weather team. They hit in cold weather, rather. It was intimidating for opposing teams to come in here in October. So I don't want to hear the cold weather thing. That is such a freaking cop-out. It's a total whine is what it is. Now, if you want to say change the game times, fine, I'm okay with that. But the circumstances are the same for both teams. As for defense, and Cora needs to be questioned about this after the game, too. The Red Sox scored. They manufactured a run, which I mentioned earlier, in the bottom of the 6th. Walker Buehler takes them out for the 7th. Walks the leadoff man. Cora leaves him in. He gets the next guy, Ernie Clement. Flies out to center field. So after the out, he's thrown 89 pitches. Cora comes out and gets him. Buehler didn't look happy. Okay, now again, he'll get over it. Justin Wilson comes in the game. Miles Straw.